Once again, a very happy morning, children. Welcome to the biology session, Unit 23, Economic Biology, Part 1. So first, we will see the learning objectives of this unit. After completing this lesson, you will be able to know about horticulture and floriculture, classify biomanures and know their importance, differentiate between hydroponics, aquaponics and aeroponics, know the importance of dairy farming and cattle breeds, gain knowledge on the aspects of aquaculture and pisciculture, gain awareness on vermicomposting methods and benefits of vermicompost. Then identify the commercial products obtained from apiculture. So we'll come to know the meanings of these hard words. In lower classes you would have know about what is horticulture, floriculture and all. But till we will come to know all the definitions. We will learn all the definitions again, once again. Okay. So first let me see the introduction of this lesson. So the gift of nature is almost unlimited, and thus a variety of useful products are obtained from plants. Economic uses of plants are varied, and therefore the scope for improvement and their cultivation is immense. The floriculture and horticulture have gained considerable public attraction. In recent scenario, more emphasis is given to the progress of economic aspects of zoology like aquaculture. So what is aquaculture? It is nothing but culture of fish. Okay, so waterborne animals, prawns, crabs, pearls and edible oysters, vermiculture, apiculture and dairy farming, which are gaining more importance as animal based farming due to their economic and commercial values. The animal farming has now become an agro based entrepreneurship and is beneficial to rural farmers. So we will study about them elaborately in this lesson. So now we will see horticulture. What is horticulture? You have studied this in your lower class itself. So this is a 2-mark question. Define horticulture. Horticulture is a branch of agriculture that deals with cultivation of fruits, vegetables and ornamental plants. So what is horticulture? Horticulture is a branch of agriculture that deals with cultivation of fruits, vegetables and ornamental plants. So the word horticulture is derived from the Latin words hortus. Hortus meaning garden and colere meaning to cultivate. Okay, so garden cultivation. That is called as horticulture. So horticulture is both a science and an art of growing plants with improved growth quality, yield and with resistance to diseases, insects, stress, etc. So horticulture is nothing, not only of growing plants. It is not only about growing plants. It is also about how to improve the growth of the plants, how to improve the quality of the plants, how to get yield from growing those plants and with resistance to diseases, insects, stress, etc. So there are 4 main classes of horticulture. So there are 4 main classes of horticulture. The first one is pomology. Pomology means fruit farming. Then second one is olericulture, that is vegetable farming. Then third one is floriculture. So flori means you will come to know that is nothing but flowers farming and landscape gardening. So these are the 4 main classes of horticulture. So what are the 4 main classes of horticulture? Pomology, fruit farming, olericulture, vegetable farming, floriculture, flowers farming and landscape gardening. So first we will discuss about pomology. So what is pomology? Pomology of fruit farming. The term pomology is derived from the Latin word pomum, which means fruit, and logy means study. So this is nothing but study about fruit. Study about fruit. Pomology means nothing but fruit farming or study about the fruit. So it deals with the development, enhancement of fruit quality, then cultivation, its techniques, regulation of production periods, then reduction of production cost of fruits. So under these things you will come, you know already. So when you go to a market, you know different varieties of fruits are being selling. So one will be in a good quality, other one will not be in a good quality. So the quality differs based on the urea or about the land farming or based on the soil content. So based on this the fruits have been segregated, right? So study about these fruits, growing of fruits based on its quality, cultivation techniques, regulation of production periods and reduction of production cost of fruits. A study of all these things comes under this pomology. So next, olericulture or vegetable farming is nothing but the science of growing vegetables. Olericulture is nothing but science of growing vegetables. So vegetable farming can be classified into kitchen or nutrition gardening, commercial gardening, vegetable forcing. So olericulture is classified based on the kitchen or nutrition gardening, commercial gardening and vegetable forcing. So what is kitchen gardening? Kitchen gardening is growing of vegetables in small scale at household. So wherever, when you have a very small amount of space, okay, in the kitchen itself near the window, you can grow the needy garden plants, needy vegetables, okay. So like tomato, brinjal, small vegetable items you can make inside the kitchen near the window by making this place as convenient as possible. So like example, beans, cabbage, lady's finger, tomato, brinjal, carrot, spinach, etc. So see the information bit here. Government of Tamil Nadu has launched Ulavan Sandai, isn't it? You know all. Ulavan mobile application can be used by farmers to gather information on farm subsidies, farm equipments, crop insurance and weather conditions. It is also provides information on available stock of seeds and fertilizers in local government and private stores. So next is commercial gardening. What is commercial gardening? It is the production of vegetables in large scale to be sold in markets. So where the vegetables are grown in large scale. So kitchen gardening is nothing but in a small particular area we can grow the needy things whichever we are in need of. For cooking, daily cooking availability, we can grow such vegetables inside the kitchen within a lower or smaller landscape. Whereas commercial gardening means it's the production of vegetables in a larger scale to be sold in the markets. We sell those vegetables in the market. So for that purpose we grow the vegetables. So such type of gardening is called as commercial gardening. So next is vegetable farming. So what is vegetable farming? It is the method of growing vegetables in buildings, greenhouses, cold farms or under other artificial growing conditions. So vegetable farming is nothing but is method of growing vegetables in buildings, in higher buildings or in greenhouses or in cold farms or under other artificial growing conditions. So it is the most intensive type of vegetable growing. It is the most intensive type of vegetable growing. Example, cabbage, brinjal, etc. So the picture is the vegetable forcing. Okay, the picture signifies vegetable forcing. So it is the most intensive type of vegetable growing. This vegetable forcing is the most intensive type of vegetable growing, and the example is cabbage, tomato, brinjal, etc. So this picture indicates the vegetable forcing. So greenhouse or polyhouse. It is a framed structure covered with transparent material, that is like polythene cover, to grow crops under partially or fully controlled environmental conditions to get optimum growth and productivity. It is the fastest growing sector in the agriculture worldwide. So worldwide this greenhouse or polyhouse is familiar, okay, in this vegetable forcing. So what are the advantages of this greenhouse? As it is a worldwide productivity, what are the advantages of this greenhouse? Disease free, 4-mark question children, you can write any 4 points. So disease free plants can be produced continuously, disease free plants without affecting the plants by the microbes. Okay, you can grow the plants in this polyhouse or in greenhouse. Water requirement of crop is very less. Then yield is very high compared to outdoor cultivation. When compared to the outdoor cultivation, here the yield of the vegetable is very high. Limited pesticides are needed. Limited pesticides. What are pesticides? Which we spray on the disease affected plants. So such pesticides, use of this pesticides are very less when you grow the vegetables in this greenhouse or polyhouse method. It protects plants from uncertain weather. Okay, even in sunny season or rainy season, these plants are very protective in this greenhouse. If you grow vegetables in this greenhouse method, these are the advantages. So this is the greenhouse building. Okay. Floriculture or flower farming. So what is floriculture? Floriculture is the art of cultivation of flowering and ornamental plants in garden for beauty or floricity. It is an ornamental plants in garden for beauty or floricity. So this floriculture is mainly the art of cultivation of flowering and ornamental plants in the garden for beauty or floricity. It is concerned with growing traditional flowers, cut flowers, bedding plants, foliage, potted plants, arboriculture trees, turf grass for beautification, and value added products like essential oils, pharmaceutical and nutraceutical compounds. The examples are Geranius, that is Pelargonium, Basilicis, Impatiens, and Chrysanthemum and Petunia. So this is the flower forming. This picture is the flower forming. So information bit, Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, PMFBY. It is an agricultural crops insurance scheme of Indian government. Under the scheme, the central government provides insurance cover and financial assistance to farmers. It was launched on 18th February 2016. This may come in 1 mark. Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana was launched on 18th February 2016. It is an insurance scheme of Indian government. It is an agricultural crops insurance scheme. Okay, so this scheme provides the central government provides insurance cover and financial assistance to the farmers. So it was launched on 18th February 2016. So use of flowers. 2 mark question. Flowers are used for decoration purpose. Then they are also used for personal needs and religious and ceremonial offerings. They impart color and beauty to the garden. They increase country's economy. Okay, so these are the 4 points may asked in 2 mark question, because this is very simple. You can write it in your own words. The next is landscape gardening. Landscape horticulture is the study of designing and constructing landscapes in homes, business firms and public areas to imitate natural scenery. So this is how landscape gardening will be. So business firms, this is done for business firms and public areas to imitate the natural scenery. So next we will see the very important topic, manuring. So what is manuring? Manuring, or otherwise called as bio-manuring. So organic manures are predominantly derived from plants, debris, animal feces and microbes. So these are how this manures are prepared. So organic manures, natural manures. Organic means natural, naturally prepared. Organic manures are predominantly derived from plant debris, waste of plants. Okay, then animal feces, waste of animals. Then by using microbes. So they make the soil fertile by adding nutrients like nitrogen. So these 3, plant debris, animal feces and microbes, makes the soil fertile by giving nutrients like nitrogen. So nitrogen is very important for the soil fertility. So these 3 organic manure, that is the plant debris, animal feces and microbes, fertile the land by provide nitrogen in a larger amount. Okay, so few of them are listed below. So now we will see the animal manure or plant debris and the microbes. So how does that make the soil fertile? So it consists of feces and urine from livestock like cattle, horses, pigs, sheep, chickens, turkeys, rabbits, etc. Manures from different animals have different qualities and different applications. A farmyard manure. It is a mixture of cattle, drugs, urine, litter material and other dairy waste. On an average, well decomposed farmyard manure contains 0.45% nitrogen, 0.2% available phosphate and 0.5% available potash. So this is the farmyard manure. So farmyard manure contains mixture of cattle dung, urine, litter material and other dairy waste. Okay, 0.5% of nitrogen. This manure contains 0.2 available phosphate and 0.5% available potash. The next is sheep and goat manure. It contains higher nutrients than farmyard manure. It contains 3% nitrogen, 1% phosphorus pentoxide and 2% potassium oxide. So next is compost. What is compost? 2 mark question. Compost is a soil conditioner as well as a fertilizer that is rich in nutrients. It is produced by natural decomposition of organic matter such as crop residues, animal waste, food waste, industrial and municipal waste by microorganisms under controlled conditions. So what is compost? Is a soil conditioner. It is a soil conditioner. Fertile the soil as well as a fertilizer. It also behaves like a fertilizer which is rich in nutrients. So it is produced by natural decomposition of organic matter such as crop residues, animal waste, food waste, industrial and municipal waste by microorganisms under controlled conditions. Okay, so which we prepare this compost by using this crop residues, animal waste, food waste, whichever we throw out from our house. Okay, onion peels, tomato peels, such using such food waste. Okay, and industrial waste, good industrial waste and municipal waste. By using microorganisms, we prepare this compost. Green manure. So green manure is obtained by collection and decomposition of green leaves, twigs of trees, field bunds, etc. Green manure improves soil structure, increases water holding capacity and decreases soil loss by erosion. Okay, green manure decreases the soil loss by erosion. It also helps in reclamation of alkaline soils, reduces weed proliferation. It is a manure obtained from undecomposed green material derived from leguminous plants. Example, sunhemp, crotalaria, then dianca, that is Sabania, then Sesbania speciosa. The next, biofertilizers. Biofertilizers are substances that contain living microorganisms which, when applied to seeds, plant surfaces or soil, colonize the rhizosphere or the interior of the plant and promote growth by increasing the supply or availability of primary nutrients to the host plant. Okay. So now we will see the types of biofertilizers. What are the types of biofertilizers? So this is nothing but rhizobium root nodules. These rhizobium is a soil bacteria which present in the root of leguminous plants. Okay, present in the roots of the leguminous plants to form root nodules. So rhizobium is a soil bacterium that colonize the roots of leguminous plants to form root nodules. The bacteria fix atmospheric nitrogen and convert them to ammonia. So this bacteria helps the atmospheric nitrogen, fix the atmospheric nitrogen and convert them to ammonia. So see the picture, rhizobium, and this is the fertilizer and this is the root nodule. So this is the root nodule. You can see small bundle like structure, round like structure in the roots. You can see this in the groundnut roots and all. Okay, so these are called as rhizobium. So next, azospirillum. It has the ability to use atmospheric nitrogen and transport this nutrient to the crop plants. Ability to use atmospheric nitrogen and transport this atmospheric nitrogen to the crop plants. It is inoculated on maize, barley. So where does we use this azospirillum? Maize, barley, oats and sorghum crops. So it increases the productivity of cereals by 5 to 20%, of millets by 30% and fodder by 50%. Okay. So these are the structure for azospirillum biofertilizer. The next is Azotobacter. Application of Azotobacter has been found to increase yield of wheat, rice, maize and sorghum. Apart from nitrogen fixation, these organisms are capable of producing antifungal and antibacterial compounds. So see, with mycorrhizal fungi, without mycorrhizal fungi. So this is mycorrhiza biofertilizer. So next we will see mycorrhiza. So what is mycorrhiza? These are the fungi. Mycorrhiza are the fungi. Okay. They have symbiotic association with the roots of vascular plants. They increase the uptake of phosphorus. Example, citrus, papaya. Azolla is a free floating aquatic fern found on water surfaces having a cyanobacterial symbiotic association with Anabaena. It is a live floating nitrogen factory using energy from photosynthesis to fix atmospheric nitrogen. So see the information bit. This is the picture for Azolla biofertilizers. The Tamil Nadu government has recently launched a biofertilizer scheme. It is aimed at better management of natural farming and helps to boost and maintain the soil fertility. The next is a very important topic, medicinal plants. The history of medicinal plants is as old as the history of human beings. Most medicines are obtained either directly or indirectly from plants. All the major system of medicine such as Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddha, homeopathy, that is Ayush, use drugs obtained from plants and animals. But these drugs from medicinal plants are called secondary metabolites. Plants produce primary metabolites for their own living, example carbohydrates, amino acids, etc. and secondary metabolites for protection, competition and species interaction, example alkaloids, terpenoids, flavonoids, etc. Phytochemistry is the study of, see this is 2 mark question. Phytochemistry is the study of photochemicals, which are chemical substances derived from various parts of plant, and few derived drugs are described in the tabular column. The tabular column page 23.1, tabular column 23.1, drugs derived from medicinal plants, page number 277. Page number 277. CDL number, Tamil Nadu botanical name, drug and parts used in disease cured. Katrare, very important children. So this may ask in 1 mark or in 2 mark or in 4 mark. You must be thorough with this. Okay. So Katrare, and its botanical name is aloe vera. Anthraquinones, parts used as leaves, and disease cured are heal wounds, skin disease, cancer, psoriasis, etc. Then the second one is tulsi. Osmum sanctum, essential oil. The drug used is essential oil. Parts used are leaves, cold fever, skin disease. Then nannari, Hemidesmus indicus. Terpen, and the parts used are roots, bacterial infections, diarrhea. Then Nilavembu, Andrographics paniculata. Terpenoids, all parts. Nilavembu, all parts are medicinal plant. Okay, it is a pakka medicinal plant. All parts are used for medicinal consumption. So dengue, it can cure dengue fever, diabetes, and chikungunya. Wet palai, Wrightia tencoria. Flavonoids, latex leaves, then psoriasis, can cure psoriasis, diarrhea, swellings. Cinchona maram, Cinchona officinalis, quinine bark of the plant is used as a medicinal consumption. Then the disease cured will be malaria, pneumonia. Then Chivan amalpodi, Rauwolfia serpentina, reserpine, roots, blood pressure, antidote for snake bite. Thylamaram, Eucalyptus globulus, essential oil, leaves, fever, headache. Papali, Carica papaya, papain, leaf seed, dengue. Then Nitya Kalyani, Catharanthus roseus, alkaloids, all parts are used. Leukemia can purify leukemia, cancer. Okay. So these are the basic information which you know already. Okay, so in the second session we will discuss in brief about many other plant uses. Is that clear, children? The second session we will discuss the uses of many other parts of the plants and variety of plants that are used for consumption as well as medicinal purposes. Then we will discuss the book back answers. Thank you, children. Have a good day.